Hi guys, and welcome to a pre-tournament video. I wasn't originally going to upload these do these live and then upload them, but unfortunately my phone is playing up. So what I decided to do is I've got my camera with me. I'm just going to do a few videos throughout the day, going over which areas I'm facing, what I'm using. And then I'll put them all together and then upload them as one sort of, tournament video kind of thing, tournament experience video. So I'm going to give you guys an idea of what I'm doing. I'm going to Critical Hit Games in Liverpool. This is previously known as the Scythe and Teacup, but that unfortunately closed down, but it got sort of taken over by some of the loyal members and they've managed to go quite successful with it. And they've renamed it Critical Hit. It's been going for a year or so now. It's doing pretty well. This is the first tournament I will be going to under the new management, so it's exciting for me to go back to the old stomping grounds, because those of you that don't know, the Scythe and Teacup is where I cut my teeth on tournaments. They were my first local tournaments that I went to, but we went to them solidly every month for like a year or two. Would travel down to come to them because my brother lived in Liverpool and I'd visit him. But anyway, not getting off sidetrack, I'm here, I'm picking up a friend. Sam, you might remember him. He is the Space Marine player who I played with my Militarm Tempestus, who has the every single one of his Space Marines is like an individual knight. It's like a Bretonian themed Space Marine army. So that's really cool. He uses the Black Templar chapter tactics. This is going to be his first tournament. He did fill in for us at the trios for one day, but this is going to be the first standalone tournament for him. So this could be really exciting. Obviously, he's going to be learning a lot. But yeah, I'll give you guys lots of updates. I'll take as much footage as possible, and hopefully it'll be a really good day. So, right, I'll see you guys later. So here we are, we're in Critical Hit Games. It's changed a bit since I was last here when it was Scythe and Teacup. So, this is the board we're playing on today. We're doing Dawn of War, and it's an ITC mission, which I've never done before, so this is going to be interesting. Lots of points to be scored each round, and lots of ruins as well, so I understand ruins block your line of sight quite a lot on ITC, so it's going to be very interesting. My opponent's army today is Deathwatch, lots of kill teams, a couple of Corvuses, Venerable Dreadnought with a las cannon, and then over here we've got the 234th Armageddon mechanized infantry. So it's going to be interesting. We'll be back at the end of the game and we'll see what the result was. So the game ended turn 5, absolutely brutal game. Sadly for the Deathwatch, they did get killed down to a man with the Deathwatch captain defiantly holding on to the end. But it was a tough game. The Imperial Guard, we honestly didn't lose that much, to be honest. We've still got we've got all our Chimeras, 3 of them in Russes, but we did lose a lot of infantry. This is all the dead infantry, and these are the dead vehicles here. So a little one-sided, but me and my opponent both had an absolutely fantastic game, really cinematic, tanks grinding forward, Deathwatch, jumping out, ambushing, trying to just do whatever they could to slow down the Steel Tide. But we'll see what happens in the second game. So second game, didn't get a chance to do the pre-game record, but basically we're playing on this lovely Necron battlefield, but it was infested with Dark Elder. The 234th Mechanized fought valiantly, but unfortunately we were tabled on the very last turn. My last Chimera just got absolutely surrounded and just destroyed by 3 Ravagers and 3 Talos. It was a really, really tough game. Basically, the whole list was just a massive blob of Talos. Really powerful, really durable. Managed to kill some of it, but not all of it. Anyway, let's see what happens in the next game. So, last game was an absolutely terrible matchup. Custodes Bikes, -1, banner. Again, didn't have time to, because we were quite pressed for time, didn't have time to do the pre-game record, but basically it was a really, really good game. I made him work for it. I wasn't tabled. At the very end of the game, I went second. This company commander was left alive and he scored me on an objective and a line breaker, which is fantastic. The objective just got moved there, basically. What was I going to say? So, yeah, really good game. I'll go into more detail in the big follow-up, but basically, I had a pack, well, it's mostly dead, to be honest. I made a distraction with my Lehman Russes. He spent 3 turns killing through that, and in the meantime, all my Chimeras was driving around the board, getting the ITC points, picking on weak Guardsman squads. So yeah, it wasn't actually a bad score in the end. It was a close victory to my opponent. just because I've made him work for it basically. So 2 overall, 1 massive victory, 1 bad defeat, and 1 close defeat. So for a Mechanized Imperial Guard list, not too bad against 2 of the worst matchups I could possibly face. I'll take that. But yeah, it's pretty good. So not too bad. So I'll cover it in more detail, all the games in the post-tournament review.
Yeah, so I still watch the squad. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh no, there's one guy left. Sorry.
Hey guys, so welcome to the after tournament review. So yeah, what a really interesting tournament. I learned quite a lot. It's the first one day that I've been to in a while, and I learned a lot of things. And there's actually going to be a couple of follow-up videos I'm probably going to do on this. There's one that I really want to dig deep into, is the ITC format. So this is the first ITC tournament that I've been to in a while, and it took me a while to readjust to it. And things I learned from the ITC tournament, there's so much I learned from that I want to actually make a separate video, because it was really cool. I surprisingly, at first, basically, to summarize it now, and then I'll do a more in-depth video on it later. At first, I thought this is bullshit. I can't see through the ruins. Then I played, Then I played adapted to that, and then I actually saw the wisdom of the ITC. I don't know if it's better ITC, ETC. That's a debate for the day. But I did see the wisdom of the ITC. So I think it's got some good things, some bad things, but yeah, we'll delve into that a bit more. So. One thing I really want to touch on here is, well, I'll tell you what, I'll go through each one of my games briefly. So the first game I had, I played against a Death Watch army, and my opponent had 2 corpuses, with one with twin las cannon and hurricanes, storm strikes, one the same but twin auto cannon, not assault cannon. Then Vendread with twin las cannon, big block of 10 intercessors, and then some kill teams. All mount, kill teams, and I think he must have had some kind of, I don't know, he had like it looked like a Devastator squad. I'm sure it was just a kill team squad, but it looked like a Devastator squad because it had 4 missile launchers in it, which is crazy. And obviously my list, which is the same list for all 3 games, was 6 Chimeras, 6 infantry squads, 3 heavy bolter plasma, 3 plasma mortar, 2 junior officers, 2 senior officers, tech priest, 4 Lehman Russes, battle cannon, plasma cannon, plasma sponsors, heavy bolter, and then 3 armored sentinels. Now I really wished that I was a little limited, so my Steel Legion isn't 100% finished. I still technically need... I need enough rifles so that I can drop all the heavy weapons. And that actually gives me enough points to be able to afford a Psyker. And I really, really need the Psyker in this army. It didn't matter in the first game, but in the second 2 games, it made a big difference. It would have made a big difference. So the first game I deployed in my standard formation. 3 Chimeras on each flank, Lehman Russes in the centre, Sentinel in each third of my deployment zone. Now, it was not much to say, to be honest, guys. My opponent was Deathwatch, and he was actually relatively new to his Deathwatch. So he didn't. I actually almost knew his army better than he did, which is a good thing. And it was a tabling. I tabled him. I got maximum points, and it was just, yeah, it was. I tried to make the game as fun as possible for my opponent. And at the end of that, we shook hands. It was great. We had a drink together. And even though I just beaten him, I ended up going up to him throughout the day, seeing how his games were going, having a chat. And it was nice. So even though he lost, he wasn't down in the mouth. He was really happy because I wasn't a dick to him. I could have sat back and mostly gun lined and sent out, a squad here and there to capture objectives. And instead, I properly, did a Steel Legion blitzkrieg, pushed forward, jumped out, grinding advance, everything. And it was fun, and it worked. It worked. And like I said, it was just, I had 2 turns of I absolutely destroyed him in 2. I just eliminated all his anti-tank in 1.5 turns. And after that, it was easy pickings. So yeah, turn 1, just to give you a quick turn-by-turn summary. Turn 1, blew up his las cannon corvus and his dreadnought. Turn 2, blew up his assault cannon corvus and destroyed the frag cannons inside. Turn 3, destroyed the missile launchers and a foot-slogging frag cannon squad. It was originally in the first corvus, but I blew the first corvus in the first turn, so it was foot-slogging. Turn 4, crushed all the intercessors. Turn 5, mopped everything else up. Turn 5 and 6, mopped everything else up. So, that was a really, really, really good game for me. But then, because I smashed my first game, it was possibly the worst thing I could have done. Because I then shot up to top table. And I ended up playing against Dark Elder. And I don't care what people say, guys. Dark Elder are overpowered. And I'm not being salty here. 100% cross my heart, hope to die. No salt. I didn't face any Venoms. I didn't face any Void Ravens. I faced Talastar. So for those who don't know what Talastar is, it's basically 3 units of Talos. And they've just got homunculi and shit buffing them. It's just crazy stuff. And basically, I had 1 chance to win this game. My opponent is someone I know from the club. And I have 1 chance to win the game. I had to go first. And I won the roll-off. And I thought, this is it. I can win this game. I can win it. Because I can happily kill a Talos squad a turn. Okay? So, if I can kill half the Talos before they get to me, or if I can kill 2/3 of Talos before they get to me, I'm fine. And my opponent sees the initiative. Yeah. So I went from guaranteed winning. Well, went from good chance of winning that game to basically 0 chance. So he moved and advanced and far and faded forward. He dropped it. He had 3 disintegrated Ravagers. They dropped down because if I got turn 1, this is why. So he dropped those down, and the game basically. What I did is I then went into tournament mode, and what I did in that is I knew I'd lost the game. Okay, I knew I didn't have enough time to kill him, and there was no point in me trying. That's the point of the Talos Star. It soaks up all your firepower, and you don't actually get any points because you spend the whole game shooting it. Whether it's Eternal War, Maelstrom, or ITC, you spend the whole game shooting it, but then you're not scoring any points. So I went into tournament mode, and I said, I'm probably not going to win this game, but I can get myself some points. So I went full tournament mode, and I basically blew up 3 of the Talos in my turn 1, like I knew I could, and then I sent 3 Chimeras down one flank, 3 Chimeras down the other flank, basically. And I made sure I killed a Cabalite squad a turn, so I got a point for killing that. Made sure I was on an objective every turn, as well as I could do. But it wasn't great. I managed to get some points every round, but in the end, I only ended up getting, I think it was 10 or 11 points. It wasn't a lot of points. My opponent got like 30 or something. It was just crazy. Because he could follow me around with his Ravagers disintegrating me. But it was tough. It was a tough game. Like I said, turn 1 killed the Talos. Then he tied my tanks up, and then the rest of the turn just flying around. But at the end of the game, I had a look at what I'd actually killed. So I got tabled, which is unfortunate. It was the last dice roll of the last turn. It's fine. But I looked around at what I'd killed. I'd killed all the Racks. I'd killed all the Cabalites. I'd killed... Out of the 9 Talos, he had 4 left. So, and he had like 3... His Ravagers were still fine, but they'd all taken... There's some scatter damage on them. And that's actually when facing Dark Elder, if you go second, you've probably lost, and if you go first, you'll probably win. That's the nature of facing Dark Elder. So it was an interesting game, but yeah, Dark Elder, whatever. But I don't want to take that away from my opponent. My opponent played really well. Even though he knew he was going to win, he didn't lose sight of the objectives, constantly tagging objectives, doing really well. Props to him. I don't want to take... He didn't have fantastic luck, perfectly normal luck. He didn't have, overly bullshit dice rolls, perfectly statistical dice rolls. Fine. That's it. Nothing too much to say. Now, the problem is the third game, I had my second worst matchup. And I honestly don't know how they scored these points. And maybe someone could tell me how pairings work in ITC. But my opponent that I faced had won both his games and had smashed both his games. He'd absolutely, dominated in his... So I don't know how someone who's got 2 major wins goes against someone who's got a major win and a major loss. That, to me, doesn't make sense. And like I said, at the end of the day, like literally at the very end of the day, when they're reading the scoring out and who got what, blah, blah, I was scratching my head because my opponent in my third game, won all 3 of his games, really high scores in all his games. He even got an award for getting the most kill points. He killed the most units. So I don't understand how he didn't do much better. And he scratched his head as well and went, that's a bit weird. But whatever. Anyway, maybe the way ITC works is purely based on tournament points. I don't know. Someone will have to tell me that. Now, my third game was against Custode Bikers with Guard. This is probably at the moment one of the most powerful cheesy lists out there. It's really, really good. It's essentially 9 custode bikers, some shield captains, and then some Blood Angels as well. 3 Blood Angel characters, Mephiston and 2 Smash captains with jump pack, and then Guard Battalion for the command points and the command point farming. And again, it was one of those games where if I got first turn, I had a chance, and if I didn't get first turn, it was damage control. And again, my opponent seized on me. Again. It was really, 2 games in a row where the only way I had a chance of it being like close, and I get seized on both. Seize the initiative to me. I just don't know if I like it. I mean, it just seems a bit like it should just be a roll off and there's a +1. That's all there should be. Maybe I'm being a bit salty, but I've seized when it was bullshit and done way too much damage, and my opponent seized when they shouldn't have done and then fucked me over. So anyway, Custode Bikers. So again, it was basically the second game again, except for I had a bit more practice now. And it was really funny because Custode Bikers aren't as bad as Dark Elder. Nowhere near as... They're tough, they're tougher, but they're nowhere near as bad to actually face. I don't know why. They don't really have the firepower to back... They're really good at chopping things up, but they don't really have the firepower like Dark Elder. They don't have the Disintegrate Ravagers as well. So basically, the first 3 turns of the game, my opponent saw the matchup, and again, it's a regular person that I played before, and he was pretty sure he was going to win. By turn 3, I actually had more points by 1 or 2, and my opponent was sweating. Absolutely sweating. And basically, guys, what it was is I made a distraction castle. So I had my 4 Lehman Russes and my Warlord, and my Warlord had the old Grudge Stratagem against his big 7-man Custode Biker unit, and he had 2 3-man ones and a shield captain as well. Hi guys, and welcome to a pre-tournament video. I wasn't originally going to upload these do these live and then upload them, but unfortunately my phone is playing up. So what I decided to do is I've got my camera with me. I'm just going to do a few videos throughout the day, going over which areas I'm facing, what I'm using, and then I'll put them all together and then upload them as one sort of tournament video kind of thing, tournament experience video. So I'm going to give you guys an idea of what I'm doing. I'm going to Critical Hit Games in Liverpool. This is previously known as the Scythe and Teacup, but that unfortunately closed down, but it got sort of taken over by some of the loyal members, and they've managed to go quite successful with it, and they've renamed it Critical Hit. It's been going for a year or so now. It's doing pretty well. It's the first tournament I will be going to under the new management, so that's it's exciting for me to go back to the old stomping grounds, because for those of you that don't know, Scythe and Teacup is where I cut my teeth on tournaments. They were my first local tournaments that I went to. We went to them solidly every month for a year or two. We travelled down to come to them because my brother lived in Liverpool and I'd visit him. But anyway, not getting off sidetrack, I'm here, I'm picking up a friend. Sam, you might remember him. He is the Space Marine player who I played with my Militarum Tempestus, who has the every single one of his Space Marines like an individual knight. It's like a Bretonnian themed Space Marine army. So that's really cool. He uses the Black Templar chaps tactics. This is going to be his first tournament. He did fill in for us at the trios for one day, but this is going to be the first standalone tournament for him, so this could be really exciting. Obviously, he's going to be learning a lot. But yeah, I'll give you guys lots of updates. I'll take as much footage as possible, and hopefully it'll be a really good day. So, right, I'll see you guys later.
More than me, so he'd get 4.
So here we are, we're in Critical Hit Games. It's changed a bit since I was last here when it was Scythe and Teacup. So this is the board we're playing on today. We're doing Dawn of War, and it's an ITC mission which I've never done before, so this is going to be interesting. Lots of points to be scored each round, and lots of ruins as well, so I understand ruins block your line of sight quite a lot on ITC, so it's going to be very interesting. My opponent's arm today is Deathwatch. Lots of kill teams, a couple of Corvuses, Venerable Dreadnought, the Las Cannon, And then over here we've got 234
damage to the
Armageddon mechanized infantry. So it's going to be interesting. We'll be back at the end of the game and we'll see what the result was.
And he killed the
So
sentinels
the game ended, turn 5, absolutely brutal game. Sadly for the Death Watch, they did get killed down to a man with the Death Watch captain, defiantly holding on to the end. But it was a tough game. The Imperial Guard, we honestly didn't lose that much, to be honest. We've still got we've got all our chimeras, 3 of them in Russes, but we did lose a lot of infantry. This is all the dead infantry, and these are the dead vehicles here. So a little one-sided, but me and my opponent both did an absolutely fantastic game. Really cinematic, tanks grinding forward, Death Watch, jumping out, ambushing, trying to do whatever they could to slow down the steel tide. But we'll see what happens in the second game. So second game, didn't get a chance to do the pre-game record. But basically we're playing on this lovely Necron battlefield, but it was infested with Dark Elder. The 234th Mechanized fought valiantly, but unfortunately we were tabled on the very last turn. My last Chimera just got absolutely surrounded and just destroyed by 3 Ravagers and 3 Talos. It was a really, really tough game. Basically, the whole list was just a massive blob of Talos. Really powerful, really durable. Managed to kill some of it, but not all of it. Anyway, see what happens in the next game.
The Chimera.
So, last game was an absolutely terrible matchup. Custody spikes, -1.
That's kind of how we...
Again, didn't have time to, because we were quite pressed for time, didn't have time to do the pre-game record, but basically it was a really, really good game. I made him work for it. I wasn't tabled. At the very end of the game, I went second. This company commander was left alive and he scored me on an objective and a line breaker, which is fantastic. The objective just got moved there, basically. What was I going to say? So yeah, really good game. I'll go into more detail in big follow-up, but basically I had it's mostly dead, to be honest. I made a distraction with my Lehman Russes. He spent 3 turns killing through that, and in the meantime all my Chimeras was driving around the board, getting the ITC points, picking on weak guardsman squads. So yeah, it wasn't actually a bad score in the end. It was a close victory to my opponent, just because I made him work for it, basically. So 2 overall, 1 massive victory, 1 bad defeat, and 1 close defeat. So for a Mechanized Imperial Guard list, not too bad against 2 of the worst matchups I could possibly face. I'll take that. But yeah, it's pretty good. So not too bad. So I'll cover it in more detail, all the games in the post-tournament review.
The last thing I want to sign off
Yeah, so I still like squad. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
get a minor win, and then the next 2 games also get some minor to medium wins. Okay, and then you'll win every single game. And there's nothing like coming away from a tournament winning every single game. There's nothing like it. At the last Trios tournament at Warlords, last major grand tournament I went to, which was about 8 months ago, I won every single game with Guard. And it was beautiful. It's the best I've ever done. So, that's the one thing to learn from the tournament. If you smash your first game, and if you have a list that if you have a list where smashing your first game isn't a problem, and you've got an amazing list, that's fine. If you've got a list like mine, which is relatively mid-tier, then smashing the first game is one of the worst things you can do. One thing I want to wrap up on, guys, is the event itself. I thought it was really, really well organised. It was at Critical Hit Games in Liverpool, formerly known as the Scythe and Teacup. I want to say that when I last went there, when it was Scythe Teacup, it's under completely new management now. It's massively refurbished. It's really clean. Plenty of bins, plenty of seating, plenty of tables, plenty of drinks, great food, burgers, chips, toasties, anything. You've got food, you've got drink, you've got tables, you've got a great atmosphere, you've got toilets, absolutely fine. The whole venue was great, and just want to say, absolute fantastic event organised by the TOs, and it is probably, even though I lost 2 games, probably one of the best tournaments I've been to in 8th edition. Okay, it's just made me realise how much I love 1-day tournaments. 2-day tournaments they're absolute slog. But 1-day tournaments, you go down there, you smash it, you have some die, you roll some dice, and what more can you ask for? It's absolutely fantastic. So, I just want to say, if any of you guys are in Liverpool, you should check out Critical Hit Gamer Cafe. They sell models, but not many, but they sell a few, and they've got 10% discount. So, if you've got a choice between going to Games Workshop or going to those guys, check out those guys. They've got some models. And like I said, really well run, really clean. That was the big thing. It was a very clean venue. Wasn't like a troll den. When it was Scythe and Teacup, it was a bit of a troll den. Wasn't really well looked after. Bits of random shit all over the place. And it's really... It's for a gamer cafe, people running it are now 2 young lads, in their 30s kind of thing, and 20 to 30s. And they've got that go-get attitude, and they know how to run a good event, and they know how to run a good cafe. So I would say, honestly, 4.5, 5 stars out of 5. So, hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Please check out Critical Hit Games, and I'll see you guys next time.